that down, let's move on to this one, shall we? As we all know, the next DC movie coming out after Superman is Supergirl. I think it was Woman of Tomorrow. That was it was going to be called. Now, you guys will remember that Superman was originally going to be called Superman Legacy. And then later, as we got closer and they got into production, James Gunn just came out and said, I'm taking that out. And now it's just Superman. Good move, I think, on their part. But the new movie is going to be called Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Not anymore. James Gunn has just confirmed that they are dropping it, and they're just probably going to be calling the movie Supergirl. This comes from an interview in Rolling Stone. Rolling Stone says, that's no longer called Supergirl let me try that again. That's no longer called Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, correct? James Gunn said, I think it's just called Supergirl. They asked, your Superman movie was first called Superman Legacy, and now it's just Superman. To which James Gunn said this, and I love what he's saying. Yeah, I'm always cutting. Legacy was really, we do something called a premortem. A premortem is you get together with your group that's doing the project. It's usually about a couple of months before shooting, and you go, hypothetically, if it's an epic disaster, what are the things that we're doing today that are going to cause it to be an epic disaster? Everyone here can speak freely. The things you find on other productions are the things that people are whispering. Oh God, I don't know why they cast that actor if he doesn't fit the role, or the production designer's never on time. One of the things I brought up was, it was called Superman Legacy. Even though I thought that the one we gave it that title, I just wasn't sure. First of all, I'm sick of the superhero title, other name thing. And then also it seemed to be looking back when we're looking forward, even though it does have to do with legacy in the movie itself. And everyone was like, oh yeah, no, change it. All right. Two things he said here. Number one, I'm loving a lot of these philosophies James Gunn has about filmmaking. Like, number one, don't even pretend to have a start shoot date until we have locked the script.
Yeah.
Number one. But I also love this idea of having, hey guys, before we start shooting, we're almost ready to start shooting. If this movie ends up being a disaster, what are the things that we think we're doing right now that are we going to look back on saying, well, that's why our movie was a disaster? A premortem. I love that idea. I think that's great. But Rob, I've also been saying for years, I think I started saying this back in the movie blog days. I hate, you know what I like sequels to be called? Thing 2, Thing 3, and Thing 4. That's what I like. Because as you move on in the future, there's never any confusion about, wait a minute, did Superman Winter Soldier come out before or after, or Captain America Winter Soldier come out before or after Captain America Civil War, or come out before or after? And James Gunn did that with Guardians. Guardians 1, Guardians 2, although he did call one Volume 2, which is fine. I have personally always hated subtitles.
What about Die Hard with a Vengeance?
I love the movie. It should have been called Die Hard 3.
That's such a cool title.
It's a cool title, but it should have been called Die Hard 3. Anyway, that was never the most popular opinion of mine, but I really like, just call it Thing 2, Thing 3, Thing 4. But anyway, so this is kind of in line with what they were saying. Don't get me wrong. I don't dislike Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. I don't dislike that title at all, but just call it Supergirl and then call the next one Supergirl 2. And I'm all for it if that's what they end up going with. I don't know. What do you take away from a bunch of the stuff here that James Gunn talked about?
Well, first of all, I love listening to him talk about, they have like, a caucus where they sit down or a quorum, whatever, where they talk about like what works and what doesn't before going into the film. I think a lot of people in Hollywood are afraid to do things like that. Ego might get involved. They're worried about what people are going to say. But people that are secure in what they're doing have no problem listening to other people that they respect's ideas. Stanley Kubrick, my favorite director, it was said that he would send his assistant out each day and say, oh, Mr. Kubrick would like to know, do you have any thoughts for the day? Because he was not insecure. He knew what he was going to get, whatever he wanted anyway. And to have James Gunn sit down and ask his collaborators, what can we do to make this better? What are some of the problems you anticipate we might have going in? That's the same philosophy that comes out of, we're not moving forward until we have a great script. He knows where all the problems are in Hollywood, and he's trying to prevent them because those are easily preventable problems, and these discussions don't cost any extra money, but they might save us a lot more money on the back end, and they're going to make our product better. So listening to him talk about this is
I
great.
like that.
And realizing that, you know, it's I keep going back to one of my favorite movies of the last 25 years, which is The Social Network. Just call it Facebook.
Yeah.
Drop the. You know, I mean, it's the same thing. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. What does that mean? Supergirl, that's what you're selling. You're not selling the Woman of Tomorrow. That sounds like an ad for a vacuum cleaner from 1968. You could be the woman of tomorrow if you use the new vacuum cleaner of today. No, Supergirl, that's what we're paying to see. Superman. There was never a Zack Snyder Superman movie. The last Superman movie there was Superman Quest for Peace back in 1987.
Quest for Peace. You know, somebody in the live chat asked me a question. It's a good question. They say, well, John, what about like name of movie, number, subtitle? I don't hate that idea.
Right.
Because so if
like Star Trek 2, The Wrath of
like
Khan.
that's the perfect example.
Star Trek 3, The Search for
The Wrath for Khan.
There you go.
Or even Star Wars, right? Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Star Wars Episode 2, Star Wars Episode 3. I actually don't mind that idea.
Right.
That's actually kind of fine because you still have the number in there. So when you look back 30, 40 years from now at these movies, you completely have no problem about the sequential order of them. So yeah, I'm all for that. I think that works great. I'd be down for that. I don't have any problem with that whatsoever, but I don't know. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, BetterHelp. Guys, one of the things that's really frustrating to me is that there's still a lot of stigma around men's mental health, but it should not be that way. Men are expected to always stay strong, keep it together, provide, perform, and yet over 6 million men in the US experience depression each year, and many go undiagnosed. It's okay to admit that you could use some help. Real strength is being able to say, I need to talk to someone. That's where BetterHelp comes in. With over 35,000 licensed therapists, BetterHelp is the largest online therapy platform in the world, having already helped over 5 million people. And it's super convenient. You can join sessions from anywhere, whenever it works for you. You can even switch therapists anytime at no extra charge. And the results speak for themselves. BetterHelp has a 4.9 out of 5 rating on the App Store with over 1.7 million reviews. So guys, if you're feeling the weight of the world, don't carry it alone. Talk it out with BetterHelp. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can connect you with mental health professionals who understand what you're going through. Our listeners and viewers get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/Campea. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Campea. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? I mean, James Gunn said some pretty interesting things in there, including the whole thing about titling, but also, what do you think about the base story here that they're going to change the name of Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow just to Supergirl? I think that's good for marketing. I think that's just good for the brand. I just think it's a good idea. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.